Open Your Eyes is brought to you by the Belize Bank, our country, your bank, and Smart, bringing people together. Good morning and welcome to Open Your Eyes.
Start your morning right.
I'm Paul Lopez.
And I'm Asana Caetano. Good morning.
Excellent. Thank you all so much for joining us on this lovely Tuesday morning. It's August 19th, 2025. And here's what's on the show lineup for you this morning. We have 4 excellent conversations on the way, beginning with a discussion on tariff barriers and their ripple effects on the region. We're then going to switch gears into launching the new National Tourism Security Strategy. What is that all about? We're going to find out in that second discussion. And then we're going to move on to kicking off the season with the Future Football League. So some sports discussion along the way for you all. And then last but certainly not least, Smart. And as they connect Belize with new savings. What's that all about? Well, you're going to have to stay tuned to find out later on in the show. Isani, good morning.
Good morning, my brother.
How's things this morning?
Man, I can't complain.
Yeah.
It's bright and sunny, so I decided to throw on a little yellow and reflect the
Correct.
vibe.
Correct. It's a beautiful Tuesday morning.
Indeed it is.
Much different than yesterday where we saw the fogs come down.
It was scorching hot for the better part of the day.
The heat has been on these days, my brother. So your color, your vibe reflects the heat as well as the type of season that we're in.
Hey, we're a few weeks away from the official kickoff of the September celebrations.
Yeah.
So my mind done the inner
Correct.
carnival mode, party mode, and all of that.
Well, I mean, if you look at the colors I'm repping this morning, some people would have said, well,
some
look
patriotic
like you're done to get up patriotic for me, but that's the vibe.
Nice, nice. Hey, these are the 5 things you need to know when you leave your house this morning. Belize confirmed its first case of New World Screwworm in a human, right? Nayeri Parshu is paralyzed after being shot in an attempt to escape from the Belize Central Prison last week. The 36th annual CBU Media Awards unites regional media houses. President Trump pushes for a meeting between Presidents Vladimir Putin and Vladimir Zelensky. And of course, KTV The Remix brings a twist with original songs and jingles. First things first, Paul.
Yes.
It made headlines yesterday
Right.
that the first case of a human infection of the New World Screwworm has been confirmed in Belize. And this is an individual who is from Benqueviejo, so it's the western part of the country. And I don't know about you, I'm a bit squeamish when it comes to certain things, right?
And that's one of them?
When I saw the well, I didn't even open the image proper, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
But just the blurred view of the actual wound, I was thinking to myself, why would it have taken someone so long, perhaps, to even seek medical attention with respect of that particular wound, right? And then the thought that it was infested with larvae, right? In some cases we say maggots, right? I don't know, bro. I don't know. You're just talking about it even just has me, in a kind of way. But what is interesting here, and we were able to discuss this, and it was a feature in our lead story yesterday. When we look at the progress, if you will, of the New World Screwworm, it was first detected in cattle in southern Belize in the Toledo district. Then, subsequent months, we realize, okay, well, our pets are becoming infected, our dogs and cats and pets are becoming infected with the screwworm. And then, interestingly, it went to the primates.
Are we seeing an evolutionary trend here?
so to speak, right? But we would describe this as a sort of a zoonotic thing, where it goes from animals to human, right? And so lastly, we see here that the first case was confirmed in a human. What are your thoughts?
So I think there's several things that's important to discuss. One, that there is a treatment. There isn't necessarily something to eradicate it per se, but there is treatment once you seek medical care early, right? And in this case, my understanding is that this individual received a wound, and this individual was delayed in his attempt to, or his move to seek medical attention. And so what I learned yesterday from the good doctor at Baja is that the screwworm has stages.
Yes.
Right? So first, the fly pitch. I don't know what kind of fly it is. It looked like the regular conchas to me, but I think there's a fly specific.
Yeah.
But the fly pitch on the wound, and when the fly pitch on the wound, it releases the larvae or the larva. And what happens is that larva takes about 12 hours before it develops or it becomes that worm. However, that's the initial stage. So what he explained is that that fly could pitch on that wound this morning, and by evening, it's a description that's graphic, but you already have worms in that wound. And what happens is that if it goes untreated, within the span of 2 days, it turns, so that's stage one. Within the span of 2 days, it turns to stage two, where the worms are developing and they're eating at the flesh, right, for a lack of a better term. And then, I don't mean to give you all the graphics, but at the 5th day, it's important to know if it goes untreated at the 5th day, this is when the larva is fully matured. And this is where they see some significant damage to tissues, specifically in animals at this point, because we haven't seen any humans in Belize get to that stage, right? This is the first case where they've seen where it's eaten at the dog's flesh, almost taking away half of the dog's face, their eyes, their nose. At least in dogs, that's what they've seen locally. And so it's important, I think this is what they've been stressing, that you seek medical attention if you suspect that your wound is infected. But it's also important, and they've also been stressing this, that you treat the wounds of the animals surrounding you. So if it's a pet and your pet is wounded, it's important that you treat that wound, because that's where this will also develop. If you you're a cattle rancher or a farmer and you have animals, to treat their wounds.
Well, so you're right. Two things where that is concerned. I see that the recommendation is the use of ivermectin
and
antibiotics, right? And so for most people who would have pets, I'm a dog owner. And I use ivermectin a lot. Right? Almost on a monthly basis.
What is it for?
To deal with any kind of open wounds. That's one. To keep away ticks and that sort of thing as well. And in some cases, internal parasites, right? So we're very familiar with ivermectin. And so it's just an encouragement that if you're an animal owner, I see that it's also being used for human, but perhaps in a different form than the actual syringe and stuff, right? But if you have dogs or pets for that matter, and you realize that there's a wound and you don't want to chance it, it's easier you just apply the ivermectin and then perhaps take your animal to the vet and see about a diagnosis or what have you.
And this is the first case. I think just finally it's important to note that Belize has been doing a good job
Yes.
in terms of its awareness campaign and its preventative approach and its detection, because we are the last country in the region to report a
Yes.
case in a human, and that's a good thing. However, what we're seeing with countries within the same region is that after they reported that first case, they reported dozens more to follow. So it's not to alarm, but it's more to make the general public aware that this thing can escalate, that it is serious, and that we need to stay on top of our game where this is concerned, so that we don't see dozens of cases and, God forbid, something fatal. So it's important that we keep this on our radar 100%. So that's something you definitely need to know and keep track of before you leave your home.
Well, it's a big week here for us at GBM, the Caribbean Broadcasting Union, which we are a member of, meets in Barbados for the 36th annual general meeting, and which means for us it's award season, right? We're not sure how much we're going to walk away with this time around. Suffice to say that we are the most nominated this year when we look at the various categories of stories and production that we've put forward for the panel to sort of review, in a manner of speaking. We're up there, and I'm hoping that we're able to, you know, make our country and make ourselves proud. We do a lot of great work here at GBM. If you look at the morning show, if you look at the newscast, and of course if you look at any other production that we have been a part of, it's with this sense of pride in the work that we do, and of course to be able to deliver it at its highest, at our very best, right? So I'm looking forward to the results. I know that your name is in there. I know that several other colleagues are in there. I'm, in a manner of speaking, happily retired, but we'll see where that goes this time around.
Yeah, the fact that we were informed that we have the highest number of nominations not only speaks to the volume, but it speaks to the work that the entire team here at Greater Belize Media puts in on a daily basis. For you to be able to have so much nominations says that you're working diligently, you're sweating, you're churning out stories to the point where, one, they're quality stories, but two, they're stories that are impactful, so much so that they qualify for categories within the award, this regional award. So the regional award only recognizes impactful categories.
Excellence in journalism.
Excellence in journalism. And if you're able to surpass the nominations for countries across the region in each one of these categories, then it says that you're putting out a high volume of impactful stories. And I think that's something to recognize, not to pat ourselves on the back, but I think viewers recognize that as well on a daily basis when they engage with our stories, when they engage with our discussions. So this award ceremony is as much for us as it is as for our viewers. Because when we put out the stories, we put out the stories with our viewers in mind. And when you're recognized for those stories, one, it encourages you to continue to speak to viewers and their interest, right? And so I think that's super important for us to for us. Tonight is the opening ceremony and the Hall of Fame induction. That's an annual part of the General Assembly. And then tomorrow night is the award ceremony on Wednesday night. So it's something to look forward to. But speaking about tonight, before we move on to any further discussion, KTV The Remix Season 7 is looking to wrap up.
We're winding down.
This is the second to last show. I consider this the finals because this is technically the grand finale where the candidates or the performers, the participants, they get a final opportunity to wow voters. Because after this show, this is where you get to vote finally. Because next week, that when they announce who win, right?
Yeah.
So this is the big bang, that last hurrah. And tonight it's all about the original songs and it's all about the jingles. It's smart jingles, correct?
Yes.
You looking forward to the show, Isani? Tell me.
Well, two things, right? So TR Shine is going to come on as the guest judge.
Nice.
Where the original songs and jingles are concerned. We'll also have a representative from Smart. Since we're talking about a Smart jingle, they will also be there to sort of, judge and critique these performances. Now, when you talk about original performances, these remaining participants would have had sufficient time to actually sit down and put pen to paper and come up with something that is unique, that speaks to who they are or the genre of music that they are particularly fond of, right? And so that is what's going to be interesting about it tonight. You'll probably have someone who goes up there with an original reggae song, an original dancehall, rap or R&B or jazz or whatever they're into, but that's going to be what they'll take to the stage tonight. You also have some who will be doing the jingles, right? So TR Shine has had a history with doing jingles and stuff.
It's very good at it.
We've seen him promote various products with jingles and what have you, including Smart and its services. So that's, to me, that's what the big draw is going to be. And while KTV isn't without its bumps and bruises,
which I love.
It's par for the course, right?
Drama.
You live to expect the drama that comes along with it. But we've been able to pack the bliss week on week this particular season, and I think that is something that speaks to the popularity of the show and of course the draw. Yeah,
so I'm interested in seeing these original songs because it's one thing to be able to sing karaoke and one thing to be creative on the other end and write your own lyrics and perform it to a song or to a beat, etc. So be sure to tune in tonight at 8 p.m. But of course, it's the show goes down live from the Bliss Center for the Performing Arts. You still have time to grab your tickets before it's all sold out. Don't be the one waiting, knocking at the door with no tickets, right? So you could come over at Channel 5, at Greater Belize Media and Coney Drive and get your tickets for $5. You could also get your tickets at 88 Shopping Center. And of course, if there's more available at the door, you can also visit the Bliss later on and get your tickets there. But it's a show you don't want to miss. It's only what we're going to do right now is we're going to take a quick break. We've wrapped up our discussions and we'll be right back with our first conversation for this morning. It's all about tariff barriers and their ripple effect on the region. You don't want to miss this one. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Christian Palma. I'm the owner of CRK Services and I've been operating this business for 7 years in Big Falls, Toledo District. I use the Belize Bank online services because it's quite fast, reliable and easy. Before I started to use the Belize Bank online services, I had to make a lot of trips into town, which cost me a lot, especially fuel. So the fact that I have to use my credit card every day, I can do an online instant payment and make my life easy. My customers can do payments towards me and it reaches in instant. It's fast, it's convenient for my business. I don't have to be up and down. I can do it anywhere I want. I would recommend you using the Belize Bank online services because for you, it will save you a lot of time.
It all comes down to this. After weeks of epic battles, show-stopping vocals, and jaw-dropping experiences, the stage is set for KTV The Remix Finals. Your top contestants are pulling out all the stops, performing their very own original songs, and putting a fresh spin on the smart jingle like you've never heard it before. Who will remix their way to the top 3? Who's got the voice, the vibe, and the vision to win it all? Don't miss the finals of KTV The Remix Season 7 on August 19th. The music is original. The competition is real. The energy off the charts.
It's that time of the year again. The Belize Carnival Association proudly presents the annual King and Queen competitions. Watch as your favorite carnival band bring gigantic jaw-dropping costume to life, bursting with creativity, color, and unstoppable energy. It all goes down at the Belize Civic Center on August 23rd, 2025. Pre-judging starts at 5 p.m. with the main show at 7 p.m. Enjoy the live performances by Kenny G and the New Creation Band and experience the magic of Carnival like never before. Tickets are only $15 for adults, $5 for kids. Be there, feel the energy, and celebrate Carnival.
Pat, thank you for staying tuned with us. This is our first conversation for this morning. It's an interesting one. It's all about tariff barriers and their ripple effects on the region. And we have joining us economic professor at UAE, and he's joining via Zoom, Mr. Roger Hussein. Mr. Hussein, good morning.
Good morning, and thank you for the invitation.
No, it's a pleasure having you. So let's open the conversation with a question about what exactly are tariffs, and how do they impact the Caribbean economy? And this is perhaps just a broader and more general question, but I pose that to you.
Thank you. A tariff is simply a tax that the US government, in this case, is going to impose on various countries for reasons that they identify. So in the case of most Caribbean countries, it's pitched as 15%. It was 10 and it was increased to 15. And it therefore means that if a good is entering into the US economy for $1, it is now going to be $1.15 to the consumers in that country.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, in terms of how you've been seeing it impact our Caribbean economies, have you been looking at perhaps some specific countries to see where our export stands with the US and what the effect has been?
Yes, I did look at that some time ago, and the effect on most CARICOM countries is not very large because most CARICOM countries, they are service exporters. So that because they are service exporters, when you look at the tariff on the import of goods into the USA, and you treat that import of goods as a proportion of total goods and services, it adds up to about 7%, 8%, 5% in some cases. It was not very, very onerous.
Wow.
When you look at the economic aspect of it, that is one area. But have you been able to look at perhaps the geopolitical effect of the tariffs on the region?
Geopolitical, in what sense is it? In the sense that if it is uniform, I'm not really worried. We in the region have to accommodate to the tariff, and we now need to seek out new markets. So if it is Belize, it's exporting its products to the US economy and to Latin America and to the Caribbean, and the US imposes a tariff, and it stifles the growth of Belize in the USA. What Belize has to do, and its producers has to do, is to look for new and different market and more vibrant market.
Where are we right now, just to continue to set the stage with the tariffs, or perhaps the increase of tariffs on the Caribbean region? Is it that we're at a place where it's simply in the discussion and negotiation phase, or have we seen increased tariffs posed on the region?
Well, as far as I understand it, there was an increase in tariffs on many countries in the world, and the Caribbean countries fell into, I think, the 15% block. So it's not as if the Caribbean was singled out. It's a generic tariff that intervention that was applied to many countries.
When you look at seeking avenues in different markets, how viable is the discussion about surrounding Caribbean countries, relying on Caribbean countries for import, export, keeping it in-house, if you would, and us relying on each other?
Well, that's an excellent suggestion, and there are a lot of opportunities in the Caribbean sphere. It's not grand and it's not excessive. We can't supply everything that we want one to the other, but it's a good place to start. It's a good place to start because there are opportunities within the CARICOM, and as the various firms that supply within CARICOM become larger, they could look for foreign markets.
We talk about the single market and economy framework. So if I'm to piggyback on what Paul has established, we're looking at a situation where perhaps we can increase trade amongst each other internally to perhaps be able to offset what some of these 15% impacts would be. What are your thoughts on that?
I fully agree. I see they are implementing a caps payment system where we could even pay if we adopt it in local currency within the region. So I think it's a good idea. It will not solve all of our problems because the CARICOM market is not very large. But if we work with CARICOM and we work with the associate states of CARICOM, it's a very good starting point. And you know, Caribbean people need to recognize that the global economy is changing, and that in that context we need to rely more on one another. We need to seek out new and different markets. We need to rely less on protectionism and preferential markets to survive, and therefore we need to improve our dynamic capabilities and lower our production costs. I see this as an opportunity to help us correct some of our imbalances and to improve our productive efficiency.
Yeah.
In your years as a professor of economics at the University of West Indies, I'm certain that tariffs aren't anything new. These have been applied elsewhere in the world. But for many of us, perhaps younger folks, this would be something that we haven't necessarily heard of or experienced before. What do you teach your students in respect of learning about tariffs and how they are applied?
Well, I mean, the theory of tariffs is fairly standard. You know, you teach them what is the welfare impact of a tariff, what is the production efficiency loss, what is the deadweight consumption loss. You also teach them what are the advantages of tariff, what are the disadvantages. And in the context of CARICOM, we teach them about the common external tariff and about ways to work around to make use of the common external tariff and to increase local, regional productive efficiency. So, the students in the region that study trade theory would be well versed, and this tariff is just something we have to navigate as we push forward.
What are perhaps some products that you've identified, or perhaps you and your students have sought to study in terms of products that we can exchange within the region to keep our economies viable versus looking externally to the US, Europe, etc.?
Well, that's an interesting question. That's something we would have to search out, in the sense that we would have to understand our productive capability.
Yeah.
We would have to understand the productive capability, the demands of the export market that we are targeting, and then work it out. Something called trade can analysis. Recently, I wrote the Central Bank of Belize. They never responded on how we can make better use of Belize participating in the partial scope trade agreement with El Salvador. in a manner and form that would allow Belize to benefit significantly from a welfare perspective. I hope it's something that you all scientifically pursue, because if you do it correct, there could be significant revenue implications and benefit and employment benefits for the people of Belize.
Can you
What would-
expand on that
yeah.
perhaps a bit, on what you're observing with that?
No, well, it's early days yet. I'm saying that there are ways to investigate what would be the outcome of the partial scope trade agreement. It's unfortunate that no one from the center, I wrote the governor and he didn't reply. I'm not sure how else to get in contact with the relevant authorities. I wrote someone from the Ministry of Trade and they didn't reply. But I think that you all would be at a disadvantage entering into these type of disagreement without, in my limited understanding, enough scientific information at the 6-digit trade level to know where the opportunities lie for the people of Belize. I think that's something that you all should closely and scientifically pursue, using the trade can methodology, using the WITS methodology, using the partial scope trade agreement a methodology available from the World Bank. But again, I did reach out and nobody responded.
Forgive me for asking, why El Salvador? Is it that because we already have an agreement in place, why in this case you're looking at El Salvador as that partner?
I think it would be, there's already an agreement in place. I think it is best to understand the economics of where the growth opportunities lie. You see, in these slowly growing Caribbean economies with thin resource base, you want to make sure that when you enter into partial scope trade agreements, there is as little trade diversion as possible, and you enhance the probability of trade creation.
Yeah, that's quite an interesting perspective there. When it comes to, and earlier I was bringing up the conversation about trading within the Caribbean and taking advantage of that in the face of these, especially tariffs from the U.S. What about food? We all need food. We all rely on food, and at times, and Belize for one has been considered or have been labeled the bread, one of the bread baskets of the region, as well as Guyana. How can we take advantage of this in terms of trade within the Caribbean region where food is concerned? Is this something possible or doable in your perspective?
Of course. I mean, Belize play a tremendous role in regional food security, and we need to encourage them to continue to do so, make use of the Treaty of Charamas and the membership in CARICOM, and keep pushing and using the opportunities within the perimeters of CARICOM and beyond CARICOM. But I think you raise a very important point there, and Belize, they do play a tremendous role. We have to give credit where credit is due, and we have to encourage you all to continue to be one of the important food baskets of the region.
But in terms of, I think, logistics, that has been one of the main issues here within the region. Have you taken a look at that as well, how challenging it is logistically to take advantage and perhaps diversify and move away from the U.S. For Belize, I'm speaking specifically, where we have land connection?
Well, I think the private sector should take a lead there. I was looking at some of your cattle trade recently, and I mean, there are opportunities for cattle to walk across the border and be traded, and I think those type of opportunities, especially when they are land borders, I think you all could make deeper benefit of those opportunities, so that the private sector should be incentivized to lead these possibilities.
We're looking at trade with Mexico and Guatemala if you're talking terrestrial borders, right? And cattle is one industry where certainly that would be a possibility. Perhaps there are other avenues that can be explored other than the agriculture sector. What are your thoughts on that, Doc?
Of course, there is always great value in downstream processing. In fact, the bulk of the money and the bulk of the gain really lies in when we process raw material and trade them. So that, again, but these things from what I understand and from what I see in all the other Caribbean countries that I do work in, is that you need to understand the economics possibilities. You need to look at the possibilities available to you. What are the best options in terms of trade, in terms of value added? And while it's difficult to pull them out of a hat, it's something that you have to calculate and evaluate and look at. But I think with the productive capacity of Belize in agriculture, there will be much more scope for downstream processing and hence greater benefit for the people of Belize from a value-added perspective by going that route for some products.
How is your country, Trinidad, dealt with this tariff, these increase in tariffs? I know that Trinidad has larger manufacturing operations than we have here in Belize, and I would imagine a lot of those products are exported to the U.S. How have you all been able to navigate this current economic climate?
Well, it's a work in progress. We are seeking out new markets where possible. We are turning to the domestic market, the regional market, the Latin American and Caribbean market. We have no choice to maintain profitability. Firms would have to change the wheels on the bus as they move. And so I recommend the same for Belizean exporters.
Is Belize perhaps for Trinidad a bridge to the Central American market because of how we are geographically placed?
Yes, I mean, Belize, one of the advantages of Belize, the great advantages, is its geography. And I think it has to capitalize on that. You know, you talk about logistics, but the logistics of trade for Belize as compared to, say, some of these small islands is very different because you all have land-based opportunities, land-based logistic opportunities. And therefore, I think you all should count your blessings and make good and better use of it in my understanding of the facts.
Yeah, all right, good.
Yeah. My final question for you, Professor. When you look at all of this, is this something that you forecast would continue during this Trump administration, or do you see that perhaps if there's a successor that this would eventually go away?
I think with a successor it would eventually go out. But what I would recommend to the people of Belize, and I hope one of you all could follow up if it is possible, is make use of what is in front of you. You all have this partial scope trade agreement with El Salvador. Do a deep dive technical analysis and find out what are the trade creation opportunities for you all and pursue it. Also, you all should look at the partial scope trade agreement with Mexico if it is not already in place and look at where the opportunities lie. One of the things about Caribbean countries is that we tend to avoid doing the robust technical based research that would help provide and clarify the opportunities available for us that would give us the path of least resistance. So when I heard about this interview, I was happy. I do work on Belize quite often, and I think I am using the opportunity as well to ask that the same people who contacted me to do the interview, if they could get on to any of the trade specialists and set up a meeting, let's look at how we could expand the benefits and the possibilities from the partial scope trade agreements that are in place and that could be put in place so that you all don't enter into agreements where your trade complementarity is low, where your trade intensity is low, and where the benefits for the people of Belize are 1/10 or some small proportion of what they can be. I think that's value.
One of the challenges that I think we face in Belize is the production, low production, and a shortage in labor. So when you're talking about the trade between El Salvador and Belize being equal, one thing you will observe is that El Salvador could basically absorb all that we produce in terms of food, etc. And what would be needed is an increase in production in certain sectors, which then requires an increase in labor, both of which we have a shortage with. So then that perhaps presents your first challenge or first barrier.
Of course, but what you will do then is you will have to prioritize and focus on those areas in which the value added and the productive efficiency is the highest. And that's exactly why I think you all should do it with a sound methodology so that you allocate your scarce labor and other resources wisely. That's exactly why I'm saying this.
Yeah, that's very eye-opening. So Doc, we want to thank you so much for your time. Thank you for joining us in this conversation and taking your time out all the way from Trinidad. I know you have a busy morning ahead of you, so we truly appreciate it. Thank you very much.
No problem at all. And reach out to me as needed. Take care. Have a good day.
All right, take care as well. All right, so what we're going to do right now is we're going to take another quick break, and when we come back, the conversation switches over to the National Tourism Security Strategy. Want to learn more about that? Well, stay tuned. We'll be right back.
For back to school with Benny's B-Books. We have limited edition Benny's exercise and composition books just in time for the new school year. Get 6 composition books for 5 B-Bucks and 12 exercise books for only 2 B-Bucks. Benny's and B-Bucks, getting you ready for back to school.
We are ready for back to school. Are you?
Alright, on the one fun day on, the window open and the light they turn off. It look like you listen to me, Jamie.
Not only that, I even get a new coffee mug where keep my coffee hot all day.
I'm impressed. You don't look like you're so hard, yes?
Better than that, BL can change my meter to one of their new smart meter, they call it the AMI.
Oh, I hear about it on TV from a BL ad, you know.
Yes man, it don't reach the money by to change it right now. Let's go check it out.
Hey guys, I'm almost done here.
So that when you reach my area,
we're upgrading meters across Belize, house by house, business by business. Always look out for BL logo, uniforms, and IDs. BL will make you know when we're in the area. The EMI meter rollout is a part of BL strategy to modernize our energy services.
You don't need to come in at my house, right?
Come in at your house, boss, only if you got something good for you.
BEL, bringing you a brighter tomorrow.
This is the new era of the Mexican Caribbean. A whole spectrum of colors and hues, multi-dimensional cuisine, holographic beaches. The true new era is within you.
My name is Leomar Langzert and I'm a teacher and I bank with Belize Bank Independence Branch. What I enjoy is to see if the features that the app offers. I have a sense of not having to worry or be concerned about somebody finding my password and username to sign in the application because of the use of the one-time password. And another feature that I love, that I use the most, is how the app synchronizes with my fingerprint on my device. I enjoy the rapid and easy, seamless process to apply for loans through the Belize Bank, and I don't have to be having too much back and forth to visit or take time to visit the bank. They also start to offer the online applications through the app for loan applications, which I believe is very neat. I would definitely recommend Belize Bank to other teachers because one of all the features and advantages that the app offer, with these online that Belize Bank offered, is basically everything that you can do in the palm of your hand. So I would definitely recommend the bank to other teachers.
We at Full Tech Systems understand that technology isn't just a tool, it's a game changer. At home, smart devices and AI are revolutionizing daily life. In education, tech is making learning more interactive and accessible for students and educators alike. For businesses and government, it's driving innovation, streamlining operations, in unlocking growth, leveraging tech for better services, infrastructure, and security. At Full-Tech Systems, we help you thrive with cutting-edge solutions, partnering with leaders like Dell, HP, Microsoft, APC, Fortinet, Cisco, and Tomy. We deliver the right products for your needs, whether it's boosting efficiency, improving customer engagement, or scaling operations. Connect with us and let's drive innovation together. Full-Tech Systems, your technology center, where you come for the price, but stay for the service.
Bringing people together.
Oh man, one more scroll and my data is done.
Wait, who said anything about running out? Smart just dropped a more powerful plan that now includes social media data, so you can scroll till your fingers cramp. Enjoy free social media data now included in our Flex Choice and Select postpaid plans. Visit any Smart showroom to sign up today because connectivity just got even better. Smart, bringing people together.
This is where blue innovation meets green ambition and orange creativity thrives. Join us for the Belize Investment Summit 2025, September 3rd to 5th at the Sunset Caribe in San Pedro. This is the future of regional integration, and it starts here. Whether you're returning home, expanding regionally, or entering new markets, Belize welcomes you. Why Belize? Why now? Belize Investment Summit 2025, Bridging Markets, Building Resilience. September 3rd to 5th, Sunset Caribe, San Pedro. Visit investmentsummit.bz to register and be part of shaping the investment frontier.
Welcome back. Thanks for staying tuned for this conversation. We have joining us on set Senior Superintendent Carver Flowers, Mr. Herman Blees, a security specialist at the Belize Tourism Board, and Ms. Joyce Stone, the Associate Director at the Institute of Archaeology, Niche. And we'll have a couple more guests joining us as the conversation goes along. And this one is all about the launch of the new National Tourism Security Strategy. Good morning.
Good morning.
It's a pleasure to have you all. We're going to start with you, Mr. Blees, just to give us an idea of why this strategy was important to implement and perhaps how it came to be.
Okay, so thanks for having us. Thanks for having me. As you know, tourism in Belize represents about 40% or more of GDP. Tourism employs thousands of Belizeans who depends on this industry for their livelihoods. So the security of the industry is not optional. It is foundational. And so over time, we've noticed that we've been having fragmented enforcement strategy, meaning that, well, every other department come across an incident and then they report it to the Belize Tourism Board. We believe that that is not the correct strategy. For over many years, we have been operating without a strategy per se, and so having realized that the fragmented strategy is not working. And as a matter of fact, there's evidence of this not working even up to now, because if we look at the news that came out of Costa Rica, their tourism numbers has fallen significantly because of the level of crime and in that country. Coupled with that is the fact that Donald Trump had said the crime there is crazy. And so as a result of those comments as well, that country have seen their numbers falling. We don't want that to happen in Belize. So the strategy launch last week came at an opportune time, at the right time, where now we are going to be combining our efforts, the police, the BDF, NICH, all of the agencies together to make sure we address the issue of crime in Belize in terms of the tourism industry, and address all the gaps in the industry that can actually impact and negatively impact our industry. And so that is how the strategy came about.
What did this fragmented approach look like? This inefficient approach that had to be altered with this new strategy?
Okay, so in the past, the strategy for enforcement in tourism was not data-driven. People were just coming across incidents and addressing it. The police would address incidents on their side. They come across something. The NICH would come across something. They will send us a letter saying that this is what happens at one of their sites. We get cases in the marine sector. Everybody seems to be doing their own thing. Right. And we did not have a strategy to address all of these things by, holistically, using all agencies combined. Secondly, the enforcement strategy was not data driven. So we were reactive rather than proactive. The strategy now sets out a proactive stance to address the gaps in tourism security. And so we are now gathering, we will now begin next week. In fact, we've started this week to do data-driven enforcement, meaning that the tourism police will gather together the data because they are on the ground. Remember, BTB does not have a police force. It is the tourism police that supports our work. We are the regulators, but they support what we do. And so they are the ones who are out on the ground countrywide, and they are the ones who come up with the information that we need. They go out, they find incidents, they report it, and so we gather those data. They provide us with a monthly report. That report is what myself and others sit down and we look at the data that comes out of those reports, and then we retool, and then we say next month or in the coming month, this is what we are going to do, and we are going to go after these areas. And that is how we strategize to make sure that the data we're using is what helps us to drive the enforcement angles of the BTB.
Can we get Ms. Tun into the conversation just to talk a bit about how this strategy will increase the effectiveness of security in the fields and areas that you all work?
Okay, to start with, just to kind of clarify or denote as to what is NICH's role within this national security strategy. The Institute of Archaeology, which is an institute under the National Institute of Culture and History, manages 14 archaeological reserves that are open for public visitation. Besides these archaeological reserves, we are a regulatory agency, which means that we are responsible for the protection of all cultural resources in country. And so we also need to ensure that there is an effective risk management strategy to say as to how do we respond to any incidents at these archaeological reserves, because we also provide a tourism service. And so we need to ensure that visitors are as safe as possible, as Mr. Belize alluded to earlier. And so we need to ensure that there is that collaborative effort between all the institutions and regulatory bodies that help us to ensure that there is security at these archaeological reserves. So we are a pivotal part of the entire implementation of this strategy. So the Institute of Archaeology niche, we have taken a multi-sectoral approach where we don't only work with the BTB, but we work with the police department, we work with the BDF, we work with conservation partners, and all those that play a crucial role in ensuring that our visitors and staff at our reserves are as secure and safe as possible. We also need to ensure that communication is effective. As Mr. Belize said earlier, we cannot be reactive but more proactive. So we have started to implement different strategies as to how we can communicate more effectively to ensure that any incident or any possible foreseen incident, we could address it before it explodes in our face, no?
Yeah.
So it is important that we are ensuring that the strategies that we're implementing are as effective and efficient as possible.
What does the data show about the type of incidents that you all have been able to address effectively and through these collaborations at archaeological sites?
Well, some of the major issues that we've been having in country is the exploration, especially when it comes to caves. We have tour guides, tour operators that feel that cave exploration is something like a free-for-all kind of thing, right? So it is very important that we address these explorations, because when you take visitors to sites that are not open for public visitation, more than likely there is not security in these areas. So we have put in place a cave management policy which will help us, which is already helping us identify the caves that are being explored and where there is a high risk for tourists. So we are kind of catching these things before any incident may happen. And so that has been one of our main issues that we've been having. The cave exploration. And so along with the Belize Tourism Board, the police department, we have been kind of nipping that before it creates a problem. But we have had incidents in these areas where guides are going to these caves and tourists get into some sort of accidents, and then we have to respond and see how we could address these types of incidents.
Excellent. Now we have other guests joining us, and we'll get to them briefly, but let's get your input on the police role in all of this. I think the police plays a huge role in terms of enforcement in the country. How are you all working your resources to ensure that there's this collaborative effort in protecting a very important sector in our country?
All right, good morning again, and thanks for having us this morning. Well, you know, the Belize Police Department is always here to support whatever agency, whenever we are called upon. The police department is the primary law enforcement agency in Belize, which means that we have jurisdiction over pretty much everything when it comes to the laws in Belize. So our role, or one of our main primary function, is the protection of life and property. And we have an entire unit dedicated to tourism, which is the Tourism Police Unit. So we have always been working very closely along with the BTB and Mr. Belize. I have been the representative on the Tourism Security Task Force for the past 2 years, and our support is very critical. We work very closely along with them whenever we are called upon. And the police department, although we have the Tourism Police Unit who are specialized in the tourism sector, we also have several other units, specialized units, operational units, that whenever needed or whenever called upon, we will deploy. Whether it may be in the maritime area or in the jungle or in the urban cities and towns.
I think we are, at least here in Belize City, we've grown accustomed to seeing the Tourism Police Unit. There are at least members of the Tourism Police Unit, especially on high tourism days, patrolling. They have their own vehicles as well, and of course their own personnel. What are they out looking for, or what are they out seeking to do? Welcome, good morning. Kindly introduce yourself.
Good morning, everyone. It's a privilege to be here. Assistant Superintendent Cook, my apology. I will be the new commander for the tourism unit. I'm here to take over.
Okay.
That should be effective tomorrow.
Nice.
So again, we look at the different pillars and we want to align ourselves with the strategy. And again, we look at prevention, just like the good officer indicated, and also the protection of the industry, right? So we really want to do proactive policing instead of reactive. So again, we have our officers, and I'm sure that they have been doing a pretty much good job, and it can just get better. No? So again, I am here to meet with them. Tomorrow I will take over the office, and we will have a fine time, you know, aligning ourselves with the strategy.
I would imagine these officers are out there looking after the interest of tourists specifically. Can you speak to that, and perhaps the notion that they're out there protecting tourists against locals? Or is there a collaborative effort where the unit works with locals and tourists alike?
I think it is about sided. When we look at it, it can be the locals, it can be transnational. When it comes to crime, all crimes are not committed by our locals.
That's true.
Some of them, you know, we have a porous, you know, borders, so people can come into our country and commit their crimes and return back. So again, it is our effort in collaboration with our partner agencies to see how best we can identify these, you know, criminal activities, and then step up the efforts when it comes to, you know, the security measures at the different borders. So it will be our job, our task to identify them, share real-time intelligence so that we can, you know, disseminate to the respective, you know, agencies, and we work together for one common cause to reduce and protect the industry.
What does the strategy speak to in terms of increasing personnel for the tourism unit, especially if you want to take a more holistic, collaborative approach? You'll need more personnel to be based, or more eyes at these different hotspots, if you would.
Well, our plan in the strategy is to increase tourism police numbers by 60% over this period of the 5-year strategic plan.
Okay, 60%.
Yes.
Over 5 years.
Over 5 years. It depends, you know. Circumstances can change. That is our estimate. But of course, tourism being what it is, the strategy being a living document, there's a chance that those numbers could be adjusted depending on the circumstances.
Yeah. Let's bring the Belize Defense Force representative into the conversation. Mr. Burns, can you introduce yourself?
Good morning, Lieutenant Colonel Jermaine Burns from the BDF. I am the Future Plans Officer. So about 4 years ago, I had a casual conversation with Mr. Belize from the Tourism Board, and we were facing issues in the Chickaboo area, and as they were as well. And so we came up with various strategies to start to tackle the security of the Cayo district area. We started identifying zones where we realized were trafficked heavily by both tourists and where we as a defense force saw remote areas that may be threatened by immigrants, the likes of people coming across the border that were not necessarily supposed to be there. And because of that, and where remote resorts are, we saw the need for us to have some sort of security there. That conversation led to where we are today, 4 years later, to a structured approach to this strategy that brings together our partners in a collaborative way, so we stop working so much so in silos, because the work is being done, but in silos. And what that does is it duplicates effort and it wastes resources. And what this strategy does is bring all of our organizations together so we can work under one umbrella and report under one umbrella, so that everybody shares information and we're able to mitigate any threats that are coming our way in respect to the industry and in respect to our individual organizations, for the unifying purpose of a safer Belize.
How much of this is about countering the narratives that comes from these travel advisories, a lot of times from the US, and we've seen Canada join recently in this chorus? Belize is not a safe place. Level 2, level 3, steer clear of Belize as a traveler. How much of this is to bring back confidence into travelers, whether it's regionally or internationally?
They do have some effect, those travel advisories. But as a tourism board, we recognize also that some of the advisories that comes our way are not so accurate. We know that the advisories many times tend to confine themselves to Belize City. But when a tourist out there 1,000 miles away is listening or hearing that and is planning a vacation, they many times take these advisories seriously. And so with that in mind, and we understand what the advisories can do to the movement of tourism to Belize, and like what is happening in other countries. The strategy is also designed to address that as well. So if we are proactive and we are doing data enforcement, we know that the plan is to mitigate and to lower the numbers of incidents across the country. And I'm certain that with the communications we're having now with the US Embassy and the British High Commission, and other agencies, that we can have these conversations before these negative advisories come out.
We've seen where tourists are targeted in Belize. We've reported on incidents. What is statistics or the data showing in terms of tourists being targeted in Belize City specifically by criminal elements, and the response from the tourism police, if not the entire department?
Okay, of recent, we have had very minimal reports. In the past, yes, we have seen and heard of reports against tourists, but in the past, I can say it's very, very minimal. We have police officers on the ground, tourism police, and I must say that although Mr. Belize talked about increasing the tourism police numbers, although we have this tourism police specifically for tourism, we also have the broader Belize Police Department, who also plays an integral role in fighting crime and preventing crime on a whole. So it's not only the tourism police units that look after the tourists, but we have the Belize Police Department in general who are out there doing preventative patrol. We also have the community policing unit who also are out there visiting these tourist areas, Placencia, Kikaka, San Pedro, who also are out there engaging the tourists, enlightening them, sensitizing them about Belize, where to go, where not to go, and stuff like that. So it's not only the tourism police unit, but we also have the entire Belize Police Department backing us up.
What's perhaps your vision for the unit moving forward?
I like the fact that there will be an increase in personnel, and that's a really a plus for the unit. We are we always need human resources, especially the extra eyes and ears out there. But I like the fact that we will enhance the training, our officers' capability, boost their capacity so that they can be approachable, especially in terms of servicing or giving good service to the industry. Approachable, maybe emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
I would want to, so that they can empathize, especially with the tourists who may be a victim of whatever incidents or cases. So again, I like the fact that we can look at the different resources that will be provided to the unit so that we can even get better.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is the aim. So in a nutshell, 60%, if I align myself with the strategy, it's a big boost. And over the next 5 years, I am looking forward to see that.
One of the things highlighted at the launch, Ms. Dunn, is the fact that we have a high volume of unlicensed tour guides, and that a lot of the incidents we've seen in the sector is associated with these unlicensed tour guides taking on tourists simply because it's cheaper, so they have a lower rate. But the question is, how do we tackle such an issue in terms of identifying who these people are, ensuring that there's enough resources to go around to help to identify them and weed them out?
Okay, for the Institute of Archaeology, I believe this is more a BTB question.
Correct.
But for
Yes.
the Institute of Archaeology, what we have implemented at our sites is that we require that all tour guides provide a license. And also they must have some sort of evidence that they're working with a tour operator. So we don't allow any guides on site if they don't have that sort of evidence to show that they are working under a tour operator. So this is how we assist the Belize Tourism Board in terms of enforcement, because if you do not provide that, then you cannot access our sites. When it comes to other sites, reserves, archaeological reserves that are not open for public visitation, as I mentioned earlier, like the caves, we work along with the BTB to sanction these guides. We have been monitoring closely all these different caves that tour guides have been visiting with their guests. And what we do as well, we, along with the Belize Tourism Board, sanction these operators or these destinations that are operating without any kind of agreement from the Institute of Archaeology. Because besides the 3 caves that the Institute of Archaeology manages directly, we have other caves that are open for public visitation, such as St. Herman's under the Belize Audubon Society, Dark Night. And so these different operators, co-managers, have some sort of an agreement with the Institute of Archaeology. Beyond that, there are some that are operating, and we've been targeting them one by one, along with the Belize Tourism Board and the Tourism Police Unit. So this is how we ensure and assist the Belize Tourism Board in addressing these types of non-compliances.
But if I might add to that, and that's a very good question. Thank you for that question, in how we manage these unlicensed tour guides, if you will. An example would be a taxi driver pick up somebody or 2 guests and say, let's go for a tour around Belize City.
Correct.
How can you tell the taximan, you can't do that?
Yeah.
You know, the taxi man will tell you, this is not a tour. I am just dropping from point A to point B. So what the strategy has to be that we will have to broaden our tourism security task force to include additional members, such as transport, immigration, customs, to help us broaden our effectiveness in enforcing regulations around the country in all aspects of tourism, because there's also the QRP, the Qualified Retirement Program, that we are seeing some problems bring up there. So for that, we would need to have the support of customs and immigration to help us enforce there. So it is important then to broaden the task force to include at least 3 other members that will help us. We can sit down together and strategize how we will address these problems.
How does the Belize Defense Force best employ its resources and skills to increase security where the strategy is concerned? I think when we think the Belize Defense Force, we oftentimes think jungle, border, not necessarily tourism and engagement in the tourism sector. Where do you all come in? And I understand you've done the studies in terms of the Cayo district and the porous borders. But apart from that, when it comes to a practical approach, on-the-ground approach, are we looking at personnel on the ground?
And so with the BDF, let me tackle the first part first with the remote areas. So you'd recall back in about 2004 to 2006, the tourism industry was threatened by, again in the Cayo district, but there are a number of raids on tourist vehicles from folks that we believe to have been from across the border in the Mountain Pine Ridge area, the Black Rock Resort area, on that Benke Road from the Santa Elena, San Ignacio area. And we saw the need to quell that immediately. We got together with BTB and 7 vehicles were donated back then to the BDF. And this made the news for quite some time. And we took about a year to actually get it under control. That's when we saw the need for us to engage in tourism security from a standpoint of providing security in remote areas. During the times when there were some issues with safety issues with tourists in the Mountain Pine Ridge area and the road wasn't as good as it was, we were those folks that were soldiers that were reacting to that. Now, I'm happy to report that we have a vehicle there stationed solely for tourism security. Wow. And that is stationed at De Silva Camp, and so that roves around in the Mountain Pine Ridge area to respond to any tourist related incident. But to answer your question directly, so the BDF, what a lot of our organizations didn't realize, partner organizations, is that we provide a lot of training. So training is the big thing here that the different organizations capitalize on. We work a lot with the police department, the immigration, customs department, niche, forestry. You name the organization, we're hosting training at Price Barracks and around the country. These trainings helps from the planning strategy to all the way down to the tactical work that officers doing enforcement would require, leadership and that sort of thing. And so we do not restrict any of our partner organizations to come on these trainings. The trainings are at the cost of the military. We invite you so that we can partner, so that our organizations can share. We also provide a lot of security advice because we're the security experts in the country. Not to say that our other security organizations are not, but we work very closely with the Coast Guard and the police department. And we'd like to prize ourselves as the head of security because of the amount of training that we're afforded outside of the country. Our officers go for a year at a time when they immediately join, and then every other year or so you're out of the country enhancing your leadership, enhancing your strategy building, and enhancing security knowledge. And so this is what we bring to the table. Excellent. We help a lot with the planning, we help along with the strategy, and to see the strategy move forward, we help to bring together the team, and where we see it's faltering and in our measurements, then we try to bring it back on board. And the good thing about the strategy is that it's going to be revised on an annual basis, and all the team members are going to have an input. All our stakeholders are going to have an input from the public and private sector in order for us to be able to address the plethora of activities that we think are plaguing the security aspect of tourism.
Excellent. Well, we are completely out of time, but I'll just say that if I'm a tourist and I'm looking at this show specifically and I'm looking at the makeup of this team, I would definitely feel confident about traveling to Belize, and definitely feel as if we are, as a country, we're prioritizing security for the tourism industry. So this exudes nothing but confidence. So I want to congratulate you all for an excellent strategy and for, if nothing else, taking the first step to this collaborative security approach. So thank you all very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Excellent. So with that, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we have a conversation with Smart. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Joy of crystal clear picture and sound from Aiwa, the brand that offers you affordability and exceptional quality. Aiwa has a wide range of exceptional products to choose from, such as TVs, speakers, headphones, home appliances, and much more at affordable prices that won't break the bank. Enhance your audio-visual entertainment experience with Aiwa, and for your convenience, parts are readily available in country for hassle-free maintenance. You can find Aiwa products at your local electronics store countrywide. Choose Aiwa, the best in home entertainment and household appliances.
Prosetum presenta Los Cumbia Kings. Los Cumbia Kings en concierto. Este 30 de agosto en el Estadio del Pueblo, Orange World Belize. Los Cumbia Kings en vivo. No tengo dinero ni nada que dar. No te pierdas el concierto del año que te hará bailar como nunca. General 150, VIP 200 y Platino $350. Boletos a la venta en la aplicación QuiPass, disponible en Android y iPhone. También con Orange Drag con cuellos, Shell One Stop, María's Café, Lifestyle Beauty Salon y WSK Call Center al 611-3677. Amor Turquesa, Boutique Belmopá. Gracias al patrocinio de
BTV, Mechas, Cuellos, Lock and Loaded, Mark Production, Quick Pass, Lighthouse,
Instituto Nacional de Cultura e Historia y Smart Belize.
It all comes down to this. After weeks of epic battles, show-stopping vocals, and jaw-dropping experiences, the stage is set for KTV The Remix Finals. Your top contestants are pulling out all the stops, performing their very own original songs, and putting a fresh spin on the Smart jingle like you've never heard it before. Who will remix their way to the top 3? Who's got the voice, the vibe, and the vision to win it all? Don't miss the finals of KTV The Remix Season 7 on August 19th. The music is original. The competition is real. The energy off the charts.
And welcome back. Our third conversation this morning, we have been joined by our friends from Smart. They're in the building this morning, Paul, to discuss a range of new things, including an ad that's going to be coming out, if it hasn't been out already. In studio with us this morning is the marketing manager, Tristan Coleman. Good morning, my brother.
Good morning, good morning.
And he's joined by Gabriela Panti. She's the campaign strategist and the digital campaign officer. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
What's the latest from Smart? What's going on?
Well, we have some exciting news. We launched our new ad yesterday. And we, of course, we have to do this with a bang. You know, yesterday was a big day for everybody. So Gabby has a little bit more to talk about on the ad. But before she starts talking about what it is or what was the process, we want to show the viewers the ad that I think we sent to the team.
All right, so I believe we have that ad queued up for you all, and we're going to be playing that ad in a short moment. Let's do it.
Bringing people together.
Serious back to school vibes.
Yes. So that's really what we wanted to focus on. And if you saw, it's at St. John's, so it was a collaboration with them. And as you have seen through our various projects that we have released recently, collaborations are always at the forefront of what we try to do and what we try to highlight. So hopefully it was like the first of many with St. John's. And then also bringing it back to like the musical part of the ad, we have Yastalia singing it, the song. So what we wanted to do is constantly highlight our support for music in Belize, and who better than to do it than our own ambassador, Yastalia. So the whole focus of the ad was to highlight how our services are, one, affordable, they're accessible, and how they just make your life easier through connectivity.
I would presume that the fact that this was done as a partnership with SJC, you're looking at a particular target audience. If we're talking about sixth formers or people attending the university.
Yeah. So we wanted to just tie it back to something relatable, right? And since it's back to school season and the whole purpose of the ad, we wanted to make it or really highlight what a student's life looks like and the different scenarios through which now it's a digital world. So you need data to stay connected and to be able to do your assignments, to communicate with your family members, and just to make it through your school days. So it's targeted towards the students, but also parents, and hopefully they can, relate. And I mean, the musical was just, the objective of that was to do that.
I like the preppiness of the whole thing. It reminds me of being at sixth form or junior college with that whole energy and vibe going on.
And I think coming back to like target audience too, it was based on High School Musical. So that is something that almost everybody knows. You've at least seen it through a nephew and niece if you are watching it yourself. And I think that we tailored this ad so that especially us, like the ones who, because now there's a series on High School Musical, so for this new generation they can watch it present, but for us older ones we've seen it in the past and everybody could kind of relate back to it. I think going back to SGCJC to see how they've expanded, and now there's the university back there. Gabriela and I, we were saying, okay, but we could maybe do it in this area, and they're like, no, there's this new area now.
The university.
It just talks about talks about the expansion and the evolution of the school, or how we're all ever evolving, be it the school, be it smart, and that's why, like I said, now we're in a digital era. Like if you can see, the classrooms had TVs in there, and we're in this digital world, and you need to be equipped. You know, you're in between classes, you're maybe trying to advance on assignments, catch up on assignments. It's better to have that security, which is why this ad was based on, like Gabby rightfully said, how our services can enhance the day-to-day life through particularly data. So, you know, we have different data. We have our postpaid data that we recently revamped, and then we have our back-to-school deals that are currently taking place and ending August 23rd, and Smart is very heavy on collaborations and partnerships. We don't like to call it sponsorship. So these back to school deals right now that we have, you know, for devices we could get it as low as $75 all the way up to $350, and this is just like if you want to buy a device you get a free SIM, and then you also, if you want a MiFi, because a lot of people feel like maybe I need a MiFi device instead so I could share to my laptop, which you still can, even if you have a postpaid plan. You still, a MiFi may be more secureable, like you might feel more security, so you could get it for $125. And then we have these device and postpaid bundles deals, which is basically when you get a postpaid plan with particular devices, you get them at really, really good deals, heavily discounted deals, we could say. So it can go, like they have for $800, $600, they're showing on screen. You have for $425, and the lowest one is under $300, so $295, right? And you could get that with a select postpaid plan. Of course, a select postpaid plan, meaning that it comes with your social media data and your regular data component. So your prices will vary based on what plan you choose to purchase a device with, but we obviously are highlighting one of our popular ones, which is the Select. So it comes with a total of 80 gigabytes of data. We recently enhanced our postpaid plans, so we have our socially upgraded postpaid plans, and it's the Flex, Choice, and Select. You know, so you could get a plan for as low as $33.75. So it has the 6 gigabytes of regular data and the 4 gigabytes of social media data. Social media data, of course, targeting different social media. Popular social media apps. Then you have your Choice, which is 20 and 8, so 28, and then which is for $56.25, and then, like I said, the very popular one, which is Select, which is 64 gigabytes of regular data and then 16 gigabytes of social media data.
So if I could add, so now you not only get the SMS plan, calling time, and regular data, you also get social media data added to your postpaid plan. So I mean, I think it's the best postpaid plan in the game right now. You get 10 gigs of data for $33.75.
Yeah. So when you tap into your data usage for social media, is it that the social media will only use up the social media data, and once the social media data is done, you no longer have access to social media?
No, you do have access to your regular data. So that's why you have your two banks. So your social media data bank will optimize from that, will pull from that source, and then your regular data, and so it's a healthy balance for your streaming. And like Gabby was saying, you know, you have 80 gigabytes for $84.38. You're talking about almost like 1 gig for $1.
I challenge you to use that up in a month. Right? You probably don't have internet home, and you do everything on that.
And I think especially when you're thinking about back to school, it's a healthy balance. Like if you're there most of the day, you could use your social media data for free time, but still have access to an amount, and you know you're not just consuming one big lump sum. And they have these deals plus so much more that Smart is offering. Like I said, the postpaid bundles that are currently taking place and ends August 30th, I think is one of our most innovative deals, especially for catered to the students, because you know you could get the data on your device at a really good price.
All right, so what else? What else do we have happening at Smart that you all can highlight?
Partnership with the Cumbia Kings.
Yes, so we do have our partnership with the Cumbia Kings as well, but bringing back to music, but we love to welcome international artists. So Gabi, you want to elaborate on what they're
So
winning?
basically what we have a text and win promotion going on. So how it basically works is you get to text the number of entries you want, followed by a space and the word win, to the number 438. And then you basically get a chance to win 2 platinum tickets to see the Cumbia Kings. And then besides that, we also have weekly giveaways. So you can win yourself phones,
different prizes.
Different prizes.
All leading up to the grand prize of $1,500 from back to school. So we've been doing this weekly, by the way, and the cost is $2 from your promo credit. So people are always saying,
what do
yes,
I do with
what
my
can I do
promo
with my
credit?
promo credit?
Yeah.
And now we developed this way where people can do more with their promo credit. I
like that.
Getting added. So you're winning twice, you know.
Yeah, correct.
Because you already double up.
Yeah.
Yes, and now you can, with that double up, you can choose to win prizes.
Yeah.
So this Cumbia Kings concert is August 30th. But next week, Monday, we'll be announcing the winner. So if you want to go, it's in Orange Walk. So if you're a Cumbia Kings fan, you know them through Selena Quintanilla.
Yeah.
You want to go hear them, they'll be right there live and giving good vibes, and we are excited to see who wins next week Monday. So you have from now
You
until
have a couple more days to win
text and
yourself
win.
2 platinum tickets to
I
see the
think
Cumbia
those
Kings.
tickets will really give you an up close and personal experience of the show.
It is
sure,
the platinum
for
tickets,
sure.
so it is the highest tier.
Yeah.
So you get to take somebody else. So if you are someone especially that has a lot of promo credit, this is your chance to win. Just again,
Get
text
it
the
to win
number.
it.
Yes, just text the number of entries that you want, space win just in caps, and then you to 438.
438. Right.
All right. Well, so we've talked about the ad and the excellent promotions y'all have with the data. We've talked about the Cumbia King collaboration as well. We want to leave it all on the floor this morning. And talking about leaving it all on the floor, you all are looking forward to a big night tonight with KTV, right?
Yes.
Smart jingles.
Yeah.
Is this the first time we're doing something like this?
It is,
right?
so,
As far as I remember. Talk a bit about the excitement behind that.
So it's a first for us because we've always been the one talking to the artist about the collaboration that we'll do. And we kind of script and then we send it to them and then they send back with their changes, tailoring it to their voice and having them bring across how they use our services in their day-to-day life. But now we get to be on the side just waiting to hear what these contestants bring to the stage tonight. So it's very, very exciting. I think the entire team is excited to hear what new songs will be here. We just gave them our directive of our service description, just so they could have some more details and the information is accurate. Because of course they are already smart customers, but they may not know all of our services in depth. So we gave them that information package, and they're going to bring it tonight. And I think this is one of the best features of this partnership that we have with KTV. We loved it. We loved every step of the way, and I hope everyone tunes in and just listen to see who will be the next one behind these ads when we have coming up. There's a lot of good activities. We support our local artists, and we want to help anyone rise to where they want to be through our services and our resources.
It promises to be exciting. I mean, when you think about having a guest judge like TR Shine, who has worked closely with Smart in the past in terms of putting together jingles and what have you, and the mere fact that jingles are short songs, right? So it forces the talent to be as creative in how they present the message of Smart services and products and what have you. What are you most excited for tonight?
I think I am excited for the level of creativity they'll bring to the stage, because there are several songs that just hit, and then people love them and they connect with them, and that's what we love doing there at Smart. Of course, we talk about connectivity clearly because we're a telecom company, but we genuinely care about the connections that we bring, because sometimes I feel it slip us and we say, okay, I could just pick up my phone and call somebody, but there was a time when we didn't have that, you know, and you could just pick up your phone, you could search something, the information is accessible to you, and you need reliable data, you need a reliable company where you can call and know that somebody will be receiving the call on the other end. So coming back to bringing people together, that is what we do through our services, through our data, and through our partnerships. Yes.
All right, excellent. Well,
and they're very, very, very talented. So we have a very talented bunch this year for KTV.
What are you looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to the rhythms. The rhythm of the. We kind of got like we've been getting sneak peeks of.
Have you?
Yes.
Oh,
so we're
privileged.
very, very excited to see the final product and to see the performances.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see the genres that they'll use to bring these jingles together. And I'm also looking forward to seeing how they employ the details, right? In terms of all the services that you have to offer, but do it in as an entertaining a way, as we see with J-Cast, as we see with the Astalia. So they have a format to use. They have examples.
So when they came into the office, and then we have the privilege of getting this preview from them. They were also so. You could tell that they really valued our partnership with KTV, and we heard feedback on the use of our services in their day-to-day life, and so they already knew. So I think one of the privileges in getting that little sneak peek before we had even handed them a full information packet was that they were already singing about our services with just by the day-to-day use that they were already doing. And I think that was one of the best feelings for us, knowing that the ads, the promos, the quality of service is being felt, and the energy that everyone at Smart puts into our work resonates, and the customers are enjoying it.
And I think that in today's day and age, for an artist, being a part of a Smart ad is sort of a flex, right? It's kind of a bragging right, because then you know the thing will play over and over. It'll be on social media as well, so there's a flex to that.
And we're always open. If there's anybody out there that is interested in collaborating with us, we're always open to exploring that collaboration.
Yes.
So feel free to reach out.
Yes, and we look forward to. I think Gabi is being modest, but I think one of her favorite parts will be developing an ad with whosoever
wins. We're very excited for that.
So like you're the part of the artistic processing.
Yes, well, it's a team effort, but yes,
So like if you recall when we did our One Kala campaign, that we was followed by September, and we did an entire float. In fact, our BCCI Expo, which is coming up, and we will be there, but our BCCI Expo team and our float for Orange Walk Parade was all One Kala. So we took them there. So it was at the BCCI Expo where we debuted the song for the first time, and then everything flew after. So we keep bringing it every single time, the deals, the promo, and I know it's a little bit early, but I think I'll also take this opportunity to say, make sure you go to the BCCI Expo, because we will be there and we'll be having excellent deals.
Excellent. Hopefully we could get you all back later on to talk about the BCCI Expo.
For sure.
But with that, we want to thank you both so much for joining us. We will be locked in tonight, as you all will, to hear those jingles and see what comes out of it. So thank you all so much. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you both for having us.
Excellent. So with that, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with more Open Your Eyes. Stay tuned.
Carlton Flowers, and I'm the owner of Back to My Roots Art from the Heart. And in this store, I produce a lot of handmade ornaments. Before I had access, it was a big problem because the tourist doesn't carry as much cash. We needed to have the machine to make the business a success. Dealing with the machine, I don't have to take time out from the store to go and, or send people to go to the bank. I would recommend Belize Bank Digital Service because it has done a lot for me personally. It has done a lot for my business. It helps me with paying my bills online, and I really appreciate that the staff took time out and teach me what I needed to get done. So I'm very happy that now I can do it confidently on my own.
Don't miss the ultimate singing showdown. It's KTV The Remix Season 7 every Tuesday night at 8, live from the Bliss Center for the Performing Arts. One stage, one voice, one chance to win $10,000. Get your tickets for just $5 at GBM Studios in Coney Drive or 88 Shopping Center on Central American Boulevard. It's music, talent, and entertainment for the whole family. Don't miss it. KTV The Remix Season 7. Tune in, turn up, and sing along every Tuesday night at 8. Only on Greater Belize Media.
What's up, bro? Just Western Union moms a little money using DigiWallet. Uncle in the States paid me too. Same app using DigiWallet. Bro, this is too easy. I can do this from anywhere. No lines, no hassle. It's just easy. All right, gotta run, bro. Take it easy.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying tuned. This is our final conversation for this morning. It's all about kicking off the season with the Future Football League, and we have joining us on set, no stranger to this set, founder and coordinator of Future Football League, Miss Whitney Roches, as well as a representative of Club Golden Youths, Mr. Carlos Cante. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
It's a pleasure to have both of you all. You know, come away from the Cayo district, right?
Yes,
way down somewhere around
beautiful Cayo district.
Beautiful Cayo district. But Ms. Roches, we're back here again for another season. Let's talk a bit about what's happening and what can be expected.
Well, we're going into the other season coming in August 29th at the Norman Braster Stadium. This time we're doing it different. We're doing it with a pop-up shop. And the purpose is because we are so sponsored by the business community. So last season for closing, we had so many gate prizes giveaway from different small businesses. You know, for the parents as they came in and they paid a little entrance fee, we gave them a ticket, and when we were raffling throughout that entire time, different small prizes. So we said our fundraising committee, Miss Lemott and Miss Reynolds, we said, you know what? Let's reach out to the businesses and see what they can give. So now as we sat down at our meeting, they said, why not do a pop-up? Why not give these same vendors and small business an opportunity of thank you by allowing them to come, set up, display their business, have the same parents at the game and the kids purchase, and that's our way of thanking them for being on this journey with us.
So this will be a pop-up at the opening day.
Opening day. Yes.
All right. How many teams are we expecting to participate this season? Where are these teams from? Tell us a bit about the teams and the players.
Well, we have 9 clubs and we have 18 categories from U7 all the way to U15. I believe when we came with Wendy,
we made our way down the
U9.
U9.
Miss Wendy call it confusion bandwagon. Well, now we're going lower.
Okay.
U7.
Wow.
You know, I mean, that's where the foundation starts. Development at that age is never too early, and people get that misconception that it's at U10. Onwards, no, why not at that level? And Mr. Kante that's his club there. He has a U9.
U9 and U11. Actually, we began at one category as we focus on the kids from bottom up. And as the couple years has passed, our club has grown. And that's the experience for most clubs that are playing in the league. So now we have 2 categories. We have the U9 and U11. And our plan is to leap into the U13 category, which then becomes more like a competitive category. So we started with the making of players and the development. So now we're planning to leap into the competitive part of development.
How transformative is this when you're dealing with kids who are going into adulthood? So the transition from child to teenager and then ultimately to adulthood through sports.
That's a nice topic. Well, for me who have a Club Ace, there are players that have been with me from when I first started which was U10. And I have players like Ian, Paul, you know, now they're going to high school. So imagine they're with me for the past 4 years. And it's a bit challenging sometimes at workout because they're at the age where they're growing into their self. So it's not like when I had them at age 10 where I could have nurtured them. They were more, you know, now it's like they're finding their own identity. Yes, and sometimes it's like, oh, they're growing, you know. And I always say, man, thank goodness I'm not a boy mom because it's kind of hard.
And for you, Mr. Kante?
Well, I haven't reached the point as Ms. Roches because I am 2 years into the journey. But at this point, my experience is still that I have the full respect of the kids, and they look out for every season, and the commitment of the parents along with their dedication to learn, to develop, that's a natural fuel that keep pushing me and motivate me to do it every time.
That speaks to mentorship as well too, though, because when you guys are at the practice or when you have your sessions with them, you're leading by an example, right?
That's right.
How do you guys feel about that role that you're playing? Outside of perhaps the children with their parents, they're also in your care, so you're also imparting knowledge with them.
Well, as an educator, and I teach Standard 1, I love it. You know, I look forward to go out there, and as I reach, they know my role. Good evening, Miss Whitney. Good evening, sir. You know, good evening, ma'am. And what I always do, I would ask when we do our warm-up, how was your day? Who is excited for school? What did you do? We always end off with a prayer as well, and we do our little team thing, 1, 2, 3, ace, you know. So it's like what you said, we're nurturing them, we're showing them that they're loved, that's their safe space, where they're also developing. But I always say, that's not a player, that's your brother on the field, that's your sister, it's teamwork. So indeed, they are in our care, and it's a great opportunity to ensure these children are not only developing football, but holistically, you know, to become lifelong learners and global citizens, because we need that in Belize.
I think it's interesting that what you mentioned earlier, Mr. Kante, about expanding the levels. So you started at U9, and now you're U9 and U11, because what I found is that once a tournament is established, this is where that expansion begins to happen, especially if that tournament is consistent, right? So talk a bit about that, what you've seen in terms of the development of these young people with their skill through this tournament.
Well, we have players that from within the league who was on the HPP program. So it showed that these players are developing because they were able to be drafted to that program, which is under FFB. So it shows that what we are doing is impacting these kids when it comes to their development within football. And as you said, consistency is the key. It's now going to be 4 years. So parents have seen that, you know, it's not mediocrity. They are committed to my child. The clubs have seen that we, the committee, are committed to youth development, so they are there and we're all going together. Paul, when we started with 4 clubs. Now we're 9 clubs, 18 categories. So it showed that we are gaining respect from parents, from the club owners, and from the business community as well.
Mr. Conte, what's priority at this stage? Development or win? You know, better go out there and beat out their team and win.
Okay, so at this stage, development comes on top of everything else. And what's very important to know is that while developing, the players need to enjoy it, have fun. And at the same time, you take opportunities to teach them discipline, punctuality. So things that we needed in adulthood, we take the opportunity to show them from young. And I must mention, different players develop at different ages. We just got to be patient and work with everyone individually.
What's the individual sense of satisfaction that you guys get from your involvement in this initiative?
Well, for me, to be honest with you, is when the children would message me about workout or at game, you know, when they're with me and they're excited, or when I'm taking them home and I could see that they had fun, they were self-satisfied with today's, even if we didn't win, the fact that they were out there doing something constructive. When parents would say, Ms. Roches, you know, thank you, or the kids would say thank you, like that's a rewarding feeling, knowing that I am making a difference within the community, that I'm not here to die empty, but, you know, leave something behind.
And for you, Mr.
For me, I see it as a hope, one of the few hope that the kids have, and make their possibility to play football come true. And with that hope, I must fulfill. Yes.
All right, so Ms. Roches, give us a bit more details about how the tournament will run. It begins on August 29th. How long are we looking for in terms of the season? We'll definitely run into school time, right?
Yes, sir.
Because school is reopening.
Well, I must say that as we are stepping into this new season, we must give thanks to our new sponsor for this season, which is Next Gen, who provides entertainment across Belize. So I must say to the Next Gen family, if they're looking, thank you guys so much for taking on this. You know, I would say it's a torch, because we had the Justice for Ladi Foundation for 2 years, and we must give them thanks, Paul, for the time they did with us and for football within San Ignacio and Santa Elena. And then that torch was passed off to Honorable Landy Habet, who sponsored us last season, and he now passed it on to Next Gen. So I must say it's like a torch.
Correct.
You know, and we must keep that torch burning, because it's children, it's football, it's Belize, it's our country. And we're looking forward for the season. We used to do it on Saturdays, but because of the sun, we said, you know what, why not try a Friday evening? So this season, we're doing Friday evenings at the Norman Braster Stadium to see how it will go. Nothing beats a try, you know. And so that's what's happening. Fridays, every Friday for 10 weeks.
10 weeks.
So we're kicking off August 29th for 10 weeks. We approximately will finish the first week in December if we don't have no interruptions due to weather or unforeseen circumstances, yes.
All right, excellent. Well, we want to thank both of you for joining us this morning, and all the best with this tournament. Hopefully it is successful. Next year we're back with this conversation again, right? With 10 or 15 teams this time.
Well, if God's willing, we will keep on doing what we're doing. But before I go, I would like to say a huge thank you to some businesses, if that is okay.
Go right ahead.
So we say Next Gen, you know, providing digital entertainment across Belize. We have our fundraising committee, Miss Lathalie Lemotte, Miss Lowana Reynolds. Without the committee behind me as the coordinator, Paul, it wouldn't be possible. You know, we sit down, we network, and we reach out to see what we can do for the clubs and for the children. We have Santa Cruz Cabins. They have been there from day one. We have Vales Procraft Printing, Mom's Backyard, Miss Sharon. We have the Barry Cayo, Better Buys, Mr. Mario Oriano, Cayo Cargo. We have Miracle Beans, if she's watching. I would like to say thanks to Miss Catherine. Verdes FC, Mr. Fraser and Mr. Hela. We also have Baccabush Books, Honorable Lande Habet, and Councillor Aaron Mai. I must say that he has been working with us. He does Cinco de Mayo in San Ignacio. So the pop-up shop, he and Miss Lemotte, they are working to ensure this is a success. So thanks, Mr. Aaron Mai. We have Miss Thelma Canelo from National Sports Council. She works with us weekly to ensure that, you know, all goes well when it comes to venues. Yes, sir. We have Mr. Charlie Waite from Vantage, Ace Lounge, and if I forgot any business, I'm so sorry, but thank you all, and without you guys, it wouldn't be possible. And also to my dad, he's our match commissioner. You know, he's retired, and that's what he does, and without him, I wouldn't be able to do this. And thanks to all our clubs.
That's right.
All the clubs. We have Krista Ray, Mr. Bani, Miss Emmy, San Antonio, Mr. Wicho, Marty.
Joining us this season, we also have Mr. Robert from
Benke Academy. We have Mr. Mejia all the way from Unitedville. He traveled with these kids. We have Mr. Rigoberto Pat from Rockets FC, Mr. Carlos Cante, Golden Youths. Yeah. We have Brandon Cante, that's Ace FC. Are we missing any other club, Mr. Cante?
I think that's about it.
That's about it. Well, thank you guys.
Well, it shows that it takes a community, right? That it's not just one or two individuals that makes this happen. So thank you both so much once again. It's been a pleasure. All right, so with that, it's August 19, 2025, and we've come to the end of this morning show. But if you're celebrating a birthday today, we want to say happy birthday to you, on an anniversary, any sort of life occasion. We do wish you all the best. But if you do have any birthday shout outs, any comments, questions, concerns, you could always send us an email at oie@channel5belize.com. You could also catch us live on Facebook every weekday morning at Open Your Eyes BC, or on Instagram for all the behind the scenes content at OIE Belize. We also have a phone number where you could text us your comments, questions, concerns as well at 675-2555. And remember, tonight it's KTV The Remix Season 7, sort of a finale where the performers, participants will get to perform the original song as well as their smart jingle. So you don't want to miss that. That's 8 p.m. sharp, live from the Bliss Center for the Performing Arts. But until then, do us a favor and join us again tomorrow when you open your eyes.
Start your morning right.
But until then, be sure to keep your eyes, your minds,
and your hearts open.
See you tomorrow, Belize. Stay tuned. Stay blessed. Open Your Eyes was brought to you by the Belize Bank, our country, your bank, and Smart, bringing people together.